Hi, this is Rod Saunders from Jew and Greek. Well, the other day I said that I'd be doing a video on Colin Miller. Actually, I'm probably going to be doing more than one, but this one just popped up on my feed the other day, and it absolutely floored me, so I decided to go ahead and comment on it. Colin is taking Tim Keller to task for congratulating an atheist for becoming the chaplain at Harvard.
Recently, for the first time in history, an atheist man named Greg Epstein was appointed to be the chaplain at Harvard University. Yes, you heard that right, an atheist chaplain. In response to this mockery of being a Christian minister, Timothy Keller went out of his way to tweet the following, quote, "Congratulations, Greg, on your appointment at Greg M. Epstein," end quote. "This is what has made Tim lose all credibility with me. Let me use 3 biblical points to explain exactly why. Number 1, having an atheist as a chaplain is a mockery of God and His Word. Effectively, a chaplain is a minister."
Now, when I see a story like this that just doesn't add up, I don't just go running to my camera to do a video responding to it. I say to myself, what's going on here? This just doesn't make sense. And then I start investigating. Here's what I learned. In Christianity Today, there was an article by a man named Pete Williamson, who for the last 7 years has worked as an evangelical campus minister employed by InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. He voted for Mr. Epstein along with all of the other chaplains. You see, there isn't just one chaplain at Harvard. There are dozens of them representing different faiths. Greg Epstein has served as the humanist chaplain at Harvard since 2005, so they've had an atheist chaplain for 16 years. When it came time to elect a new chaplain president, Epstein won a unanimous vote from nearly 30 chaplains. Now, why would all these chaplains vote for an atheist? Because they weren't really voting for a chaplain at all. They were voting for the person who would serve the chaplains as coordinator and host of their events. I think this all comes from a New York Times article saying that the new chief chaplain at Harvard is an atheist. According to the Times article, Mr. Epstein, 44, author of the book Good Without God, is a seemingly unusual choice for the role. He will coordinate the activities of more than 40 university chaplains who lead the Christian, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, and other religious communities on campus. So you can see that these chaplains aren't all representing the Christian faith. It's an interfaith community within Harvard to promote dialogue between different religious views. The prior president was a Jewish rabbi. Before that, they had a female Lutheran priest. As Pete Williamson puts it, some media outlets have called Epstein the chief chaplain. Others claim he will oversee the activities of all religious communities on campus. And still others say he's now directing the university's more than 40 religious leaders. These reports fail to appropriately portray the nature of the role. Harvard has no chief chaplain, and the president of the Harvard chaplains does not direct spiritual life on campus. We are a decentralized, non-hierarchical community of independent chaplaincies with about 40 chaplains spanning roughly 25 denominations, organizations, traditions, and religions. We are Harvard affiliates, but generally not employees of Harvard. We do not report to any higher-ups on matters of faith or doctrine. We share a primary commitment to treat each other's communities fairly and honestly, and a secondary, broader commitment to the spiritual needs of the people of Harvard. We are a consensus-based community, and consensus is often easily reached because no one is expected to agree on matters of doctrine. The president is chosen from among us, normally to serve 2 one-year terms. That person is primarily a servant of the chaplains, coordinating, convening, and leading our meetings, as well as serving as a conduit between us and the office of the president of Harvard University. They also occasionally represent us at events here or there. So you see, the New York Times headline was misleading. There is no chief chaplain at Harvard. The president, according to the Times article and Williamson's article, doesn't function as a chaplain, but as a coordinator of events that include this interfaith community. He's a facilitator and works as an intermediary between the chaplains and the university president. Now, Mr. Epstein will apparently continue in his role as the humanist chaplain while serving as president, but he won't be doing anything different in that regard other than setting aside time for his new responsibilities. Colin is apparently under the impression that this atheist is the only university chaplain functioning like a hospital chaplain, I guess. But that's a completely wrong assessment of the situation. Now, in his video, Colin says that it would be okay for Dr. Keller to congratulate an atheist for, say, becoming a manager at a McDonald's, but not for becoming a university chaplain.
If this atheist man had been appointed as the new manager of a local McDonald's restaurant and Tim had congratulated him over Twitter, that would be okay. Because that position is not inherently sinful or dishonoring to God. It's just a normal job in the end. But being an atheist chaplain is sinful in and of itself because it misrepresents being a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ.
But in reality, this position is more like a management position than a minister. So according to Colin's own example, there's nothing wrong with Dr. Keller congratulating the guy. Now, just for the record, Tim Keller is a Calvinist, and I'm not. So I'm not defending him because of any sense of theological bias. This is about ethics. Dr. Keller is old enough to be Colin's grandpa and has held a doctorate in ministry longer than Colin has been around. As a noted theologian, he has lived in the milieu of academia and participated in interfaith activities for many years, and thus understands the reality of the election at Harvard. At the beginning of all of Colin's videos, he says that he uses critical thinking.
Welcome back to the channel where the Bible and critical thinking meet to give you real Christian commentary about the things that matter.
Well, where's the critical thinking here? One of the chief components of critical thinking is self-evaluation. You always want to challenge your own presuppositions to see if they can stand up to scrutiny, because if they can't, you need to discard them. If Colin had read either the New York Times article or the Christianity Today article, he would have understood that Harvard has had Muslim, Jewish, Hindu, Buddhist, and atheist chaplains for decades. But my guess is he just read the article from Reformation Charlotte, an online attack rag that's just slightly less disgusting than Pulpit and Pen. Their article omitted this vital information. This is a good example of how flawed the heretic hunter discernment business model is. The way to get a lot of subscribers is to put a lot of videos out there. And when you do that, there's always a temptation to get in a hurry, cut corners, and fail to do adequate research. That might be good business, but it's lousy Christianity. Jesus said to judge with righteous judgment rather than by outward appearances. In other words, before you open your mouth, do your homework. Proverbs 18:13 says, "He who answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame to him." True discernment isn't fault-finding and finger-pointing. True discernment will be motivated by love. And love thinks the best of others and will always go the extra mile in fact-checking. True discernment also means that you not only recognize the faults in others, but in yourself as well. Thanks for watching, and be blessed.